Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of WIP Wednesday Live. Thank you for being here. We're on episode 52 tonight. That's a lot. For anybody who doesn't know, this is a weekly live stream where I customize live or chat with fellow collectors and customizers, people of the community, and of course get to chat with everybody here in the chat and just get to talk shop, talk toys, talk whatever's kind of on our minds. So always lots happening in our community, and yeah, so it's always fun to get to see everybody in here and have a chat. So if you haven't already, please make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do that as well, or whatever, don't, it's cool too, I'm good. But yeah, thank you guys for being here, and anything you can do with the likes, subscribes, it does help the channel, so please don't be shy, and make sure you drop something in the chat and say hello so we can say hi to you as well. What are we talking about? Last week, what did I do last week? I've been working on this Red Skull figure. I was working on him last week. I was also working on my figure of me last week as well, which is currently in pieces. It's actually like, this figure has so many accessories. Look at this. These boards are usually never this full. But look at all the different hands. He's got 3 different shoe options. He's got hands. He's got 6 heads. Technically has 8, but I'm only going to paint 6 because it's overkill. Yeah, there's a fucking lot, man. So that's going to keep me busy for a little. And he also has a bunch of accessories that my buddy Charlie printed for me. So, but yeah, and then this Red Skull I worked on last week. I've done a bit more since then. I did a little bit of detailing on the chest. Tonight, maybe I'm going to do a bit more on the back. I haven't started that yet. But yeah, if you didn't see last week, so I was working on that, feel free to go and check that out. And then as per usual, Saturday night, me and Ryan over at Moose Milk Media Pod, we chatted about the first 2 episodes of the new Always Sunny in Philadelphia season. It's pretty funny. This is the first Always Sunny season where I was like anticipating it, because I'm kind of new to the show. I just got through all the seasons like late last year, so yeah. So far so good. Another one drops tonight, so I'll probably watch that either after the show or tomorrow, and we'll be talking about episode 3 of the season on Saturday. So also, I got this in today. So for anybody who doesn't know, I run an event over an Instagram called the Legendary Secret Swap. I usually run the Secret Santa, which is like a custom figure swap where you put a list of characters that you want made for you. You give it to the organizers. We mix them all up. We distribute them to new people, and then 3 or 4 months later, you get a custom figure. So the current one that's happening is Summer Swap. It's run by my buddy Draven Arts. He is very kind to run those on his own, which means that I get to have a secret. So one of the disadvantages of being an organizer is I've lost the fortunate ability to like be surprised by what I get. So that kind of sucks. But in this circumstance, during Summer Swap, I really only do the social media aspect of it. I have no clue. I mean, I know who this is from now that I've seen the name on the package, but I didn't know that this was coming from that person. I have no clue what this is other than the list I gave. It's something on that list. So yeah, so I might open that tonight, depending on how we're doing for time, and just seeing where conversation takes us. I might just kind of open it as we're kind of chatting with my guest this week. But if you aren't following it, please go and check it out. It's honestly, it's a lot of fun. There's been a lot of really great reveals. In a few weeks, I am actually going to have Draven, the organizer, and my buddy Ethan Supley Customs, Wes. We're going to go through all of the reveals so far in depth, go through them picture by picture, and just see everything that's been showing up, and kind of try to pump up the signups for Secret Santa, which will be coming in August. So I'm very excited about that. Last year, we had 54 participants. We're hoping to get to 60 this year. So yeah. And then just things coming up. I've got lots of guests. Next week I am going to be taking the week off, just because I mean, long story short, I'm not going to be at home. I will be in town, but where I work out of in this place next week, I don't really have good internet. So I don't think I can host a show. But the week after, I'll be back with my buddy Sean, who is actually in the chat, Figurama by Enemy Zero. He will be chatting with me, and we'll be just talking toys again. So yeah, come and hang out with us then. And then I believe I have Face Customs on in a couple weeks as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, because we have an awesome guest tonight. Tonight's guest is the lead designer, or a lead designer. I don't want to say the lead, because I don't know that for sure. Over at Super 7 Toys. He's the lead designer on the Power Rangers line and the Ninja Turtles line for sure. And yeah, so great lines. I collect some of the Ninja Turtle stuff. He's also Enabler over on Toying Around's channel, and just an all-around good dude. Please welcome Kyle Wlodyga. Hey, Kyle.
What's up, everybody? How we doing?
How's it going, man?
Good. And
awesome.
I can tell that you've watched other streams, because you didn't fall into the classic blunder of mispronouncing my last name like literally everybody else who's ever had me on. So, good job.
Well, the thing
is, you read the phonetics.
I'm used to hearing it, and then when I remember seeing how it was spelled, I was like, "How do we get there? How did that happen?"
Yeah, all of the letters are silent.
All of them. So. What's your nationality?
Polish. At least that's where the name is from. Yeah.
Okay. So, cool. That's awesome.
Known for their consonants in, lack of vowels in their last names.
I can tell you that I have dated many Polish ladies, so I know. So yeah. At one point, that was my type, I'll say.
Okay. Yes. I see now why you brought me on. I get it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No. You're basically just going to be hit on for the next.
What else? What else is new?
Yeah. That's right. Just another day.
Yeah.
Thank you for sacrificing your Wednesday night to hang out and chat with me. Really appreciate it.
I'm excited to be here. I've been looking through. I started following that secret swap that you were talking about around the time last year that the Secret Santa ones, like the Christmas ones, were coming in.
Yep.
And they were really, really cool. And it makes me wish that I was good enough at customizing to participate. Right now, I kind of just want custom figures. I don't, but I have to put in the work to do it. So that's the problem. That's the hard part.
Problem.
So
we're going to talk a little bit about that, because I was actually curious if you had ever, really dipped into customizing. I know. Kind of, what you do to a certain degree, I guess, on paper anyways, with Super 7, but it made me wonder if you had ever dabbled in the customizing realm. Or
I have pretty recently, but it's mostly been like I don't know, I feel like one of my strong suits of my skill set is knowing people who are really, really good at stuff and getting them to do the job, because why would I learn it, So,
that's a good system.
Yeah,
that's a good system.
Like recently, or not even recently, like it was like a 2 or 3 year like thing, but like during the pandemic, I bought a head from like Flashpoint Customs in the hopes that like one day I will make this a custom figure. And then only recently did I like find a body for it that I liked, and then I like bought a belt for it from CJ, and CJ was like, "What else do you need?" I was like, "I need pants, but I'm not good at making pants." He's like, "I'll just make you pants," because it would take him 10 seconds to make pants for it. And so that all ended up in a black dynamite.
I like that. Hang on. I'm going to do this. Oh, that is great.
So Flashpoint painted and sculpted the head. And then
that's awesome. I remember that black dynamite head he did. Oh, cool. That's awesome. Great choice.
I bought the belt from CJ. CJ did the pants. And then I think I bought, the headband is, that's the part I'm not the most happy with. But it's, I don't know if you could tell, but it's a tie.
Oh, I can see it now that you say it on the back.
One's thicker than the other. So it's like,
is there a wire in that? Is that what's kind of keeping it?
Yeah, there's a wire in both the belt and the headband.
Cool. Very cool.
I think I bought it.
Did you dye that?
eBay. No, I bought it off of eBay.
Interesting.
But no, this is the like darker colored V-Toys body. It came out recently.
Oh,
It's like on 5K. It was like $30.
Nice.
So
nice.
I'm like, I don't know. My customizing is limited to like, let me assemble the parts.
That's fair.
but not like
there's
make
skill
the
in that too
parts myself. So
I always say I have a friend, New Collector Customs, who he does customize, but his kind of motto when it comes to customizing is, the more I can rely on what's already there, the easier my job is, and ultimately the cleaner the product looks. So like, I do believe that there is a lot of skill in just knowing your parts and knowing what has what pieces, how they go together. Like, there's a lot of skill to be had in that, in my opinion. Like, it's not just sculpting and painting, right? Like, it's so yeah, that's awesome.
That's
those
a lot
V
of my
toys,
job though too, is like,
is it? Yeah.
knowing what exists, what can we reuse, who has joint systems similar to this size and scale that we can put in, and that kind of stuff. So
I guess that's a good kind of intro into this. Like, why don't you tell everybody who you are, what you do, what you collect? Like, you look like you have a lot of stuff there to collect. So let's dive right in here. So
I'm Kyle. I've been working at Super 7 for a little over 4 years now. I am not a lead, team leader, but I'm an associate art director, which makes me a lead designer for like specific brands. So like Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles, Heavy Metal, Toho, Godzilla stuff.
Yep.
And like horror, that all kind of falls under me. And then we kind of go by like we give the brands to the experts inside the company. So like,
I was just gonna say, so the reason you got those brands are because that's what you're really passionate about then.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
It's what I'm really into, and it's what you can't really teach that part to.
Yes,
to
I agree.
So
yeah, I agree. Passion's not a teachable skill.
Yeah, not at all. So, and if you did, it's just more work for them. Like, rather than trying to explain to somebody why this Ninja Turtle is cool, just let me do it. I know why it's cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I remember kind of one of my first like memories of you talking about your job was you did an interview with Kevin on Toying Around's channel talking about the first line of Power Rangers, like right when they were solicited. You had went on and walked through everything and talked about it, and like right at that point I could really see, man, this guy like really gives a shit about like what he's doing and like the details that go into everything. And it was just really like, that's one of those things where like it's so much fun to work on something in that capacity when like you're that passionate about it and you have all of that history with the property, right?
And it makes it that much easier too, where it would take somebody else hours of scrubbing through stuff, which I still do.
You still have to. Still have to. It's not like you have every single thing.
Yeah. Exactly. So, but there's just an inherent knowledge in what I would want out of those figures, and that's typically like my North Star as I'm getting into designing these lines. It's like, okay, like what do I want? What do I want in here, right? What should they all come with? What should that look like? There are certain limitations, of course, like licensor, brand guidelines, figure formats, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But for the most part, I find that necessity is the mother of invention. So if I don't really, a friend of mine and overall good dude, Augie Perez, who's
Augie,
now. When we worked together, he taught me this word that I actually really, really like. He calls it crisis-opportunity, which is finding the opportunity within the crisis, right? Oh, we can't make this character, but what cool character can we make? Oh, they don't like that face sculpt. Like, how do we change it to make it even better? And that usually breeds better design decisions down the road.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know Augie. I've never spoken to Augie.
A pure ray of sunshine is what.
Yeah. Well, like, it's funny because anytime they talk about like source accuracy, he's there to like say his piece, right? Because it's just like he studies it. It's like he knows everything, right? It's just like like photographic memory, and he just knows what he's talking about, right? So
yeah,
it's very funny.
He was an immense help on the Power Rangers line. and stuff. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I really like the Power Rangers stuff. I think it looks really good. There's a couple in particular that I'm really, I mean, the biggest thing with Super 7 for me is the scale, right? Like,
sure.
I'm primarily a 6-inch figure collector. And then, like, for me, like, there are certain things, like, I got all 4 of the main turtles.
Yeah.
And then I have like a couple things on order. I have a Megazord and a Dragon Zord. I really like Goldar, but because my collection is primarily Hasbro,
Yeah.
I would just be very off in terms of height comparative to what I have, right? So
I guess it depends on how you view Goldar. Like,
I guess, yeah, I guess.
Literal, like,
well,
the
next
show,
to King
like,
Sphinx, he's pretty close, right?
he's pretty close to King Sphinx, but then Hasbro
Yeah.
made King Sphinx, that big.
Huge.
So
yeah, totally.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to, fudge it a little bit, like, at least with our line, your Goldar is in scale with your Zords, your Tyrannosaurus Zord, your Dragon Zord.
I do
your
like
Megazord.
that.
But also, because I have the power to walk between worlds and work on all these multiple lines, your Goldar and your Megazord are in scale with your Godzilla and your Mechagodzilla
so cool.
and your Biolantes and your Destroyers and any other big mechs that I have. So
that's so cool. So that was one thing I was gonna ask you about, like, when it comes to designing these things, like how you'd mentioned, like, knowing the parts that are available and stuff like that. Is there a lot of reuse between lines with the Super 7 Ultimates?
I
know for the Rangers it makes sense, right?
Yeah. The Queen lines, it can be a little bit harder. It's typically like within a line. So, like, for instance, like, I talked about this with Fobster on his stream, but like the Lemmy body from Motorhead, that is completely reused for Cliff Burton with some new arms and like new heads and accessories and stuff. But the whole base body is Lemmy underneath.
Okay, cool.
Same with like King Diamond. I think King Diamond and Papa Emeritus have the same joints. So elbows, hips, knees, ankles, wrists, all of those joints are the same. Those are all shaved, because that can sit that if you can use an existing like disc system, that can save you anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 into it.
Oh wow. So, wow, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, in terms of like production stuff, I have no clue what all of that costs. I'm
a lot.
completely in the dark. I know I've heard you talk about it a couple times, and I'm just like, wow, that's
keep making intense custom figures. It's worth the time. It's probably still cheaper.
I end up making more customs for other people than myself. I don't know. I stopped making customs for myself as much. Yeah, I do. So it's good. It's good. It's really good. Right. And then in terms of collection, what do you collect?
Sure. I kind of collect a little bit of everything, which is a problem. A lot of what I've been doing lately, I've been getting back into Toho a lot lately. I have way too many Ninja Turtles. I gotta like
don't we all?
Yeah, I know. I kind of collect specific. Like, if I'm working on a specific line, I will start to collect the competitor samples just to see what's out there. And, I also, because I'm spending so much time with those brands, 40 hours a week, it's hard not to fall in love with them and just be like, okay, well, now this is what I buy now. I do a lot of Mythic Legions, but I liked Mythic Legions before I worked in action figures, so that was fun. I have some 6-scale stuff, but that's slowed down a lot. I don't know, little bit of everything, a little bit of, especially if something's like interesting, or something I've never seen before, and it's like, okay, how did they do that? I'll pay the price of admission to like see how this is. Like, I just got this guy in today, and I posted it on the Enablers Discord, but like, this thing is wild.
Oh, that's the Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, the Dungeons and Dragons, the Xanathar or something like that. But he's a beholder. I play Dungeons and Dragons every week on Tuesday.
Oh, cool.
So I'm very excited. You can move all his little eye stalks around, and
Oh, that's awesome.
All that, and then you can like
move his eye. Oh,
around.
That's cool. See, I love shit like
cool.
that.
And then you can have him, roll his eye up for zesty poses. All right. But
that's sweet. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to turn down something that's just a cool toy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I really have had to because I just do not have the room. Like I
don't either.
Like I do right now. Yeah, you just do it anyway.
No, sure don't. It's just pure chaos in here. So don't open this closet door, or else.
Oh God, just a pile of stuff.
Yep.
I'm just gonna say hi to everybody quickly in the chat and just see who's here. Marcus E, hey, what's up, man? Knives Out, Tuesday Crew, Matchu Toy, what's up, man? Hey, Kyle's here. How about that?
Surprise.
Surprise. Figurama, Sean, what's up, my friend? How are you? Pretzel, oh man, what's up? It has been a minute. How are you? How's things? We've missed you. Marcus said, really loving that how that Madame Woe looks from the Ultimate line. Yeah, I'm gonna pick that one up for sure.
Yeah,
so I like her.
That one's gonna be crazy. She's got way too many soft goods, so it's like 5 layers, I think.
Oh my God, really?
There's she's got the t-shirt underneath. She's got a skirt, like a little mini skirt, and then there's the big skirt. And then there's the cape that goes to her arms, and then there's like a cape that goes over her shoulders.
Okay.
So
cool.
It's pretty gnarly.
She looks great. Ever since you kind of teased her that one, or showed her off that one time before the rest of the wave, I was like, yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna have to get that. Same with the Tiger Zord. I'm gonna have to get that too.
Yeah. So. The Zords are for sure, like all of it's worth getting,
cool.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
But the Zord one's to me, there's never been a Zord figure that's that good. And I realize how high on my own supply I sound.
There's nothing wrong with that. You're passionate about it.
But at the same time, they all have wonky joints and big pegs kind of visible because they have to transform, which is fine. And there's people who want transforming things. I got nothing against Transformers or whatever. I love Transformers. But to have something that's just that show accurate, looks like a dude in a suit, but it means even
that's
better,
the thing I like.
That's what's up.
That's the thing I like. Yeah. Well, it's funny because I can't really reach for it. Can I get it? So, me and you kind of started chatting when we were talking about the Zords, and so I think I mentioned it actually when you had sent it, but yeah. So Kyle was nice enough to send me the Dino coin from the Tyrannosaurus Zord because my friend got it and I was playing with it and I loved it, but I was like, I just don't have a place for the Tyrannosaurus. I have my Megazord and in my Hasbro display, I have the Soul Chijoken stuff, right? It's kind of at the back, just kind of a cool, and that was a grail piece for me for a long time. Once I started collecting the Rangers, I really wanted them, and then one year I got a really good bonus from work, and I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm gonna buy both. I'm gonna buy Dragon Zord and Megazord.
Yeah.
So I bought them, and then once I saw the Super 7, the Dragon Zord, I was like, shit, I need that. I love those missile hands. I love the tail. It looks so cool. So I have a
that was the beholder falling off.
That's the life of a collector.
It's a 2-pound toy. It's no joke. Yeah, I weighed it. It's 2 pounds.
Deadly.
So
that thing falls. You're in for a treat. So hopefully it didn't take out anything.
I didn't break the tempered glass on my my rig or whatever.
So we were talking about it, and I said I almost wanted to buy it just for the coin because I'm the coin is so cool. It's beefy, it's heavy, it's metal, it's just so cool. And Kyle's like, oh, I think I could probably get one of those for you. So I love it. And once I redo my display, they're going up right in the front with all my Mighty Morphin. So I'm pretty excited for my next reline. I'm gonna just do Mighty Morphin in one shelf by itself because right now I have everything in one, and I literally cannot fit anything else in it. So
sure.
So yeah, but I'm excited for Madame Woe.
You are getting the Dragon Zord, is what I heard.
I'm getting Dragon Zord and I'm getting the Megazord because I do at work. I have a little toy. I guess it's not really little anymore. It's kind of gotten out of control. I have a display of toys at work that basically have my overflow or stuff that I have from home that doesn't fit anymore, or as I replace my Hasbro Rangers with the remix ones, I'm taking the old ones and bringing them to work so I can have a display there. So I'm going to put my Super 7 Dragon Zord and Megazord with those.
Nice. Very good.
And then the White Tiger Zord will stay here though, because I don't have that represented in the shelf, and I want it. So the Zords are really like that's where I'm most interested. I really like how they look. So, and like you said, it literally looks like a dude in like cardboard box suits, right? Like it looks like ripped right from the screen, and I love that. So
that was the goal. So I'm
succeeded. You made it happen. So Pretzelgrass said, "Are you guys gonna get around to Jet Jaguar? That would be awesome."
In Ultimates, I really want to.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
Jet Jaguar is the coolest thing that Toho's ever done. He is a cyborg, technically, or whatever. This is the Mondo soft vinyl one.
Oh,
but
okay.
You've probably seen this guy around before.
I recognize.
He's a fighting robot. He's from one movie called Godzilla vs. Megalon, 1973. He doesn't talk. He doesn't do anything. He is like human sized, and then he grows big and punches monsters in the face. He's kind of like
sounds great.
He's almost like the proto Megazord in a way, which is pretty cool.
Cool.
I would love to make him. I got to make him in Reaction. I got to make the flying version in Reaction. I've done a bunch of versions of him actually. A couple of them haven't even come out yet.
Oh, nice.
So, but I haven't done him in Ultimates, and I would love to do him in Ultimates. I hope that I can beat him. Yes, he does have a killer sneak theme song. I hope I can do him in Ultimates before SHF gets to him in figure arts, but
that would be cool.
That'd be fun.
That's the goal.
Also,
first to market.
There's a personal note to it in that my friend Rocom of Rocom Toys, good dude, is the world's biggest Jet Jaguar fan, collector, all that stuff. He has like an original vacuum form pole of the original mask from the 70s, like in his house.
Oh,
so I used that for reference when I was working on the sculpts and stuff.
That's cool.
And every time I make a new Jet Jaguar, I make sure he gets one. So
sure. So he gets the sign of approval, right? It's
it's
from the ultimate.
And I'll consult with him and be like, oh, what does this look like? He's like, oh, well, move it here, do this, because again, why do all that work yourself when if you know the guy who does know it and can do it in 10 seconds?
Yep,
be more
totally.
efficient, So I would love to do Jet Jaguar just because I'd love to have another thing to give my friend.
That's awesome. I like that. What's up, Neil? How's it going, man? Hey, congrats on your first secret swap reveal. He joined us for the first time this year, and he just got his Ghost Rider 2099 got revealed today.
That was his. Man. Cool.
That was his. Fuck yeah. Cool. Good job, buddy. Nice to see. So speaking about the reference stuff, I definitely can speak to that as a customizer. Are you fortunate enough to be able to have access to some of that stuff for some of these properties, or is it kind of on you to find it and figure that out?
It's a little bit of both. Sometimes the licensor doesn't even have that stuff.
Sure. I know I've heard stories about Hasbro with Power Rangers and not necessarily having all of it kind of tucked away anywhere.
I mean, that happens across multiple lines though, and I don't.
Does it? Yeah.
At the risk of losing my own job, I don't need to put somebody down to
raise
my work up, fair. Right? But
no, that's fair.
There is a little bit of fun to digging in, getting into okay, why has this lasted so long? Why are people so crazy about this? What's the fun part about this? How do I extract that almost boil it down to a good Power Rangers line is these three things, right? A good Toho line is these three things, usually more than three, but it's for me that's part of the fun is understanding why people love it so much and kind of discovering that again. And it's it's not like I'm doing this with only new things. Usually it's when I'm working on a Toho thing, it's I've loved Godzilla and Toho my entire life, but I don't know this section of it, and so it gives me a new perspective to try and study and things like that. So usually we'll use reference if the licensor provides it, but that's not always the case.
If not, you're diving in.
Exactly.
I like
Probably
it.
to my own detriment.
That's great because it shows. Like when you look at all the accessories and everything, I really fixate on the Power Rangers because I have a lot of love for that property. Sure. It's funny because even when I went back and rewatched it, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago, I watched the first like 3 seasons of Mighty Morphin or whatever. And like, even though it was a struggle to kind of get through some of it, because some of it has definitely aged. I still fucking love it, man. I love it. There's certain things about it, and it takes me back to being a kid. Like, I remember running around. My mom used to work at a credit union, like a bank, and we would go there sometimes on the weekends when she would work, and my brother and I would just run around. And like the basement kind of had this, like, it didn't look like it didn't look like a spaceship or like a Zord thing, but it just was like very plain, and like all of the like bank teller things were just plain, like colored, and me and my brother would always pretend we were in Zord. So like I would be in one pod and he would be in the next one, and we would pretend that we were like, and it's just like all of that just takes me right back to that, right? Yeah. And it's like seeing all the attention to detail on the accessories and just everything, like even even going back to Goldar, like hit the crown that has like the clear parts in it, and I'm just like, yeah, like man, like it's great, it's awesome to see. So you can, I guess what I'm trying to say is you can really see that the person driving the bus like gives a shit in a pretty big way. So
I try to incorporate those little things like the crown or whatever.
It's great, man.
Or Rita has chains on her, like bracelets that hang down, and it's like a real chain on her staff, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's
awesome.
I don't like to tear anyone down to raise myself up, but at the same time, like there was like a few pretty popular brands and like lines of Power Ranger figures within the last, basically 10 to 15 years. And so I gathered as much of that as I could, went on forums, all that stuff, and just like, okay, what do people like about these? What do people not like about these? What do they think?
Sure.
How do we take these and just improve on that wherever possible?
And then take kind of your own spin on it too, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Like,
well, it's like again. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, just what are the things that I want to see? What are the I get to choose a lot of the characters.
That's sick, man. I mean, you'd have to take that power away from me because I would fucking just.
Yeah, it has to get approved by licensor and by Flynn and all those other guys. But
sure.
For the most part, they've trusted me with how.
That's awesome.
So.
Well, it's worked out. Yeah. So where are we at with? So I mean, Ninja Turtles. We've got what, 9 waves? Is that right?
Well, 10 just hit. 10 okay. was the one who just pre-ordered.
Okay, was that the one that had Rat King in it? Then you swapped out Rat King.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm waiting for Rat King. I told you that I'm a big Rat King fan. He's my favorite. And then when you guys showed it, I remember we talked a couple days before, and you're like, I'm a little worried about the head sculpt or something, and I was just like, all right, well, I'm looking forward to seeing it. And when it dropped a couple days later, I was like, dude, I'm fucking in on that shit.
I know you were perhaps the only person on the internet.
I know.
Who was all about that. So.
I was sad because when you told me, I was just like, oh man, really? That's disappointing.
It's okay. If
he still looks great. I mean, the thing is like, as long as we still get, I mean, the body is, I'm assuming that when it does come out, it'll just be reworked. I'm assuming.
For the most part, yeah. It'll still, the base is still there.
Cool. At least the base is still there.
Adjusted details and stuff like that.
Okay.
I just hope that, when I'm no longer part of this earth, people remember me for my Goldars and not for my Rat Kings. So.
Well, I'll remember you for your Rat King because I think it's fucking sweet. So I love it, man. I love it, and I loved that you pulled from the video game because it, like, at that time I had like just kind of gotten through it, like I was kind of late to it, and like that game was so fun. I felt like that game, they made it and they were like looking at all the toys that were coming out and they're like, okay, let's do something that's going to play to all these action figure kids and people, because like it's like every single thing that happened, I was like, oh, I got that toy, I have that, oh yeah, I got this.
There was a funny kind of coincidence that happened. I was working with Augie because we were putting together like line lists or whatever, and this isn't gonna happen, so don't take any of this like seriously at all. But like at one point we were toying around with like a Super Shredder figure from us, but at the same time the NECA one is so good, it's like
I know it's good.
It's kind of hard to beat that one, so I wouldn't even like just they make amazing.
But the thing
figures.
is,
get that then,
and again,
you know?
like I don't know if you and again, anything you can't talk about, please just say. But like, I remember that the Playmates Super Shredder figure, and like to me, as much as I do love the NECA one, it's fucking awesome. But like I couldn't just put that into my cartoon. Like I do have some, like I have a Ray, like even though I really like the NECA Ray Fillet that they just put out, or Rayman that they call it or whatever, like my nostalgia for Ray Fillet comes entirely from the Playmates figure, right? And like it's the first, I'm pretty sure it's the first toy that I ever like hunted.
Sure.
Like it was the first toy that I saw on the back of a box, and I'm like, I want that one. That's the one I want. And like I looked and looked and looked until I finally found it, and it probably took a good year before I finally found it. So like I have a lot of deep rooted nostalgia for Ray Fillet. And when you guys showed yours off first, so I immediately was like, yep, I'm getting this. And then when NECA did theirs, I originally pre-ordered it, and then I was just like, oh, I'll just put Ray with my Ultimates at work or whatever. But in the end, I canceled it because I was like, you know what? This is the look I really love for Ray, and like that's the look I want in my Turtles display, like my big Turtles display. That's the look I'm going for. So, so he kind of lives with like my NECA stuff too, right? Like it's just because that's what that's the look I'm going for. So if you guys did like a Super Shredder, like that's like less realistic and kind of more fit in with the aesthetic of what you guys already do for Turtles, oh my god. And in that circumstance, the size of it would actually be beneficial, because I think of Super Shredder as like this towering figure. So like to have him like really be bigger than everybody else, I think would be really, really cool.
Yeah, we were toying around with that thought. Hi, Kevin. And like we were trying to put like just make like what does that look like make it like the vintage figure but like slightly different or whatever. And I suggested well, like make this black, make this purple, make this like a gunmetal or whatever. And then and I like that, and Augie was like, oh yeah, that's really, really good. And then like he goes, but I was like, what? But he goes, you literally just made the same like color, the same
figure
from Shredder's Revenge. I was like, what? He goes, did you not play it yet? I was like, no, I haven't gotten to Super Shredder. Thanks for the spoilers. He goes, okay, well, Super Shredder's the end boss, and you literally just like chose the color.
You just copied it
exactly. Like I was like, yeah, make his eyes fucking green, like they're oozing or whatever.
You're like, yeah, man, you should see this Rat King I just sculpted.
Now, Augie's fully aware of the Rat King, so.
Well, here you go. Here's another fan.
Happy coincidence there, and you can tell like that game is so good because you can tell those guys all love Turtles. They all pay attention to every version of it ever, and really leaned into that. My personal favorite mutant is Ground Chuck, and that's the ultimate I want to make really bad.
Nice.
So one day, hopefully, we'll get
one
there.
day. Yeah. Pretzel Grass said he doesn't get the hate because he thought Rat King looked awesome. Yep. See, so there's two of us. There you go.
There are dozens of us.
There are dozens. So I guess in regards to like that was one thing that I guess was kind of obvious from the last line of Turtles Ultimates was like the missing. I mean, I guess Leo still kind of looks like his Playmates counterpart, but like. Is that something moving forward that we're going to see a little bit more of, like a mix of like Playmates inspired stuff and then maybe some video game inspired stuff and then maybe some original stuff? Or
I think you'll start to see that. But and I've said this before, that's always been the plan, It's not like
Right.
I know there's some people who feel like, oh, I bought this line because it was this, and now it's not that, and it's, you know, they're pulling a fast one on us. And it's like, no, that's not true.
How can you be pulling a fast one? You've been doing it for like 5 years.
We've been slowly introducing new elements to slowly. This was always sort of the plan, was like we do the
you build the brand, right?
Of that Playmates vintage line kind of thing, and then you slowly transition into your own ideas, because that's how that brand grows, right? The Playmates designs, those original vintage figures, like, you know, like sewer surfer Michelangelo, like that was not anything from the cartoon, but it fits because it fits in that character, right? So
totally.
We feel that is a more powerful thing that lasts with people when it works, you know. So of course, this is a nostalgia brand. We're kind of a nostalgia company, and everybody loves nostalgia.
I would definitely agree with that.
So
you guys are like nostalgia overload.
Yeah, makes them a little more difficult, but we're still going to keep trying. So we found that we're going to start to try and mix a little bit of that kind of stuff. So it's not a little bit of everything in stuff. It's going to be sort of, you know, a little bit of everything that makes Turtles great. So.
We kind of saw that with Gorilla, right? Same idea, right? Because that was kind of, that's an original character, isn't it?
Well, he's in the TMNT comics, the Archie comic, for one issue. It's like TMNT annual, like from 1991 or 2 or whatever. But he's only in like 3 panels. But that is like the original name of Sergeant Bananas that they then switched over.
Kiboshed, and when they made the toys, they switched the name.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And if you look at the name tag on that vintage toy, it says Gorilla on there.
Oh, okay.
So that was always the intention, but they changed it to Sergeant Bananas. But I don't know. And so it's so interesting because like that, there were no issues with you know, Gorilla, Sergeant Bananas.
Of course.
Nobody cared. But then Rat King, the world is ending. So
I know. I mean, I will say, it's like, you know, I always talk about how good our hobby can be, but sometimes, man, it can be pretty ugly out there. Like it's
you know,
it's a bummer. It's a bummer.
Yeah, there's a reason that Skynet decided to destroy the entire human race after 5 seconds of being on the internet.
That's funny. Oh man, so you do reaction stuff too then, right? You'd mentioned that you kind of designed some reaction stuff as well.
I did a little
same idea. Power Rangers, Turtles, Godzilla. Okay.
Yeah, but I actually worked on a lot more stuff in the beginning. Like reaction is like where I got trained in the Super 7 styles.
Oh, okay.
Cool. And then I got to kind of graduate to Ultimates, which was really exciting. So I did like first 5 ways of Transformers reaction, all of Power Rangers reaction, almost all the Heavy Metal reaction, all the Toho reaction.
Damn.
I worked on RoboCop. I worked on the first wave of G.I. Joe. I worked on Toxic Crusaders. Done some of the worst, some alien stuff. You know, Back to the Future. Did I say that already? And the Ninja Turtle stuff. So
that's crazy, man. Yeah, and like even in those lines are
reactions. That's why I'm like looking at like, what have I worked on? So
those lines are so deep too, right? Like they're just they're so plentiful. I saw recently you guys solicited some Beavis and Butthead reactions that I'm definitely going to be picking up.
Correct. Those are recolors on.
Are they?
They're reissues just on new card backs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But they're Headbangers Ball ones, which like how much new Headbangers Ball merch is there?
Fair enough.
0.
Fair enough. So. Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be scooping those guys up for sure because I'm a big Beavis and Butthead fan. So when I saw them, I was like, yes, that's sick. And I mean, that's the perfect line for that too, right? Like you don't need them to be super articulated. You just need them to have a presence, and they look great. So
there's also from the first wave. There's also their outfits from when they're like in the when they like work the drive-through or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So those are out there too. If you're
I'm gonna have to look for those too.
Yeah.
I've always been a big Beavis and Butthead fan, so it's pretty good stuff.
Good.
So Town Paint Apps, what's up, man? Thanks for stopping by as always. Appreciate you. Okay, let's get into a couple kind of specific questions. So I usually do like this is about standard for me. I'll talk for an hour and then I'll get into like the rapid fire questions.
You're good.
I guess I'm just not as good with keeping the flow. I could just keep talking, especially when we start talking toys. It's like so easy to just go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I try to keep myself,
I know it's hard, right?
A little bit. It's very difficult. Yeah.
Very difficult. So rapid fire questions, just kind of so everyone kind of gets a feel for kind of the things you're into. So I always kind of start with, who's your favorite superhero?
Oh man, that's really hard. So you sent me these questions, and I wasn't ready. It's probably Batman ultimately, which I realize is like a very like plain Jane answer.
Not really.
It's probably,
there's lots of reasons to like Batman.
It's probably Batman. Second is probably Spider-Man.
Fair. I always feel like the answers I give, which are Wolverine and Spider-Man, are very generic as well. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, when you make characters that are as cool and robust as those characters are, it's easy for them to become a favorite. So,
Exactly. Yeah, I like so many characters from that. Just from comics in general, it's very difficult to choose.
Yeah, narrow it down.
Yeah, because like I love Batman, but like I also really like Black Panther. He's like probably one of my favorite Marvel characters.
Nice.
I feel like Spider-Man. Everybody loves Spider-Man. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's like a super safe answer, right?
It is, but like I don't know, like something about Black Panther. Like I have a whole detail of just Black Panther stuff.
That's cool. That's dope.
And actually, Sergeant Bananas, my coworker and friend, gave me this for my display, which is a 112.
Oh, cool! That's sick.
So I'm excited about that.
That is pretty cool.
But then I also have like a whole detail of Ghost Rider too.
Right? Oh, okay, cool. Oh yeah, I remember you saying that when you got the Mezco one, I think.
Yep, and I love X-Men too. So I also love X-Men. Very, very difficult. So my
bread and butter.
My question to you is, who's your favorite X-Man?
I mean, Wolverine's always the answer because he's my favorite everything. But like, if I was gonna go with like a non-traditional answer, I've always been a big Nightcrawler fan. I like Gambit. I like Jean. I mean, it's easier for me to say the ones I don't like, honestly. Like, that's most of my comic book love comes from X-Men because, because that's the only thing I like read consistently when I was young. Everything else I kind of just picked up pieces by here and there. Just comic cover looks cool, so I'll pick it up and read it. But like the only thing that I read like semi consistently was like 90s X-Men.
Yeah,
really. And then like when I got back into comics in like 2014, I went back and like got into like the Claremont era, like the giant size X-Men, and like late 70s into early 80s, and like I really like the style of the art. I really like I feel like the strongest stories of X-Men, the X-Men history, come from the Claremont era.
Yeah. I don't think you're alone in thinking that.
No, I don't think so either. So, I mean, I do like the aesthetic of Jim Lee's art and the 90s style of art.
But I do think exactly what it is. Favorite. It's aesthetic. Right.
Yes. Yeah, totally. So, but yeah, I would say like, if I had to pick like a second favorite X-Men, it's probably like Gambit or Beast, I would say.
Yeah,
probably.
All of those are good answers, but the correct one is Colossus. So
Colossus is great too.
Yeah,
that's the thing, is like it's so hard to just pick one. Like it's just
I think
I'd love to see Mafex do a Colossus.
I want a Mafex, whatever Colossus so bad.
Whatever. Me too.
That's all I want.
I feel like they would kill Iceman too. Like I feel like
Iceman would be cool.
They would give us justice for his weapons.
It might get a little dicey with him being so translucent.
Clear? Yeah.
Yeah, because like I just got the Nightwing, and it's great. It's great, but you can take the back off for the like putting the
the batons
back, which is cool. But that shows so much. I was like, oh, this would not work like if you cast this in any other colors or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly, I don't need my Iceman to be clear. I just need it to be more than just like a molded in one color plastic. Like as long as I get some shading on it, I'm good.
If they did it anywhere near like what they did with Storm, with this,
Storm's
like, Pearl,
great.
like
yep,
that would work.
Have you seen Steel in hand yet?
No, I kind of
So
want
my
to know.
buddy, my buddy sent me pictures tonight. He just got it, and the blue kind of hue they put on like the metallic silver, like it fucking really pops. It looks so good.
Yeah, I need to get a
Feel like
cyborg
something like that.
too.
Yeah, those. I mean, I'm not a DC guy, but
Yeah.
all of those Death of Superman figures are so impressive to me. Like they're just so nice.
I'm hoping for a standard Death of Superman reissue because I had the Hush Superman, but a friend of mine wanted it like so bad, and I had the Hush Batman with the blue cape, and I was just like, I have so many Batmans, like just buy these off me for like $250, and it's gone.
Nice.
But now I'm like, I wish I kind of kept those, but
get that back.
We'll reissue those. I'm not too worried. But
Daredevil would be a sweet Mafex too. I agree.
Daredevil would be a great one, especially after this Nightwing.
Yep, Hush or Nightwing. Yeah. X Factor Iceman to go along with X Factor Cyclops. I'll take anything because I'll just repurpose it for a 90s X-Men. I'm fine. I can switch the belt. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my only issue with big ones, especially after seeing Thor and Venom. I'd be only worried. Like I know they kind of keep hinting at like we're gonna get like a Sabretooth, and I'm just like, if Sabretooth isn't as big as an Omega Red body, like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to bite. I don't know if I'm gonna.
Well, if there's, I don't know, they're kind of going through this like not generic, but like just kind of medium-sized body thing with all the DC and all the Marvel characters. They've gotten like the shorter ones with Wolverine, but it works because he's wider, so you only have to shorten certain parts. I think if they can figure it out, it would benefit them to do one of those kind of larger standard bodies, and then you can then just kind of apply that to Sabretooth,
everything else.
Red, Bane, I guess.
You could do a Venom. You could do a Venom too, right? Yeah.
But I don't really necessarily think that's 100% important. Like people would want that, people would buy that, but the short, stocky, same height as Spider-Man Venom, like I feel like that's pretty close to his like original appearance. I don't have an issue with that at all.
Yeah. I that was the reason I backed off of Venom initially, was because the size was an issue for me. Like when I think of Venom, I think of Lethal Protector, so I think of him being a little. I'm not saying he's like Hulk size, but I definitely want him to be a bit more imposing over Spider-Man.
And at the same time, like Marvel Legends does such a good job with their Venom figures for you don't really need to pay import prices.
I agree. I agree.
Oh, we were talking about my lazy customs.
Yes.
So I took the this is the movie Venom head on the King in Black body, and now it's like
that looks great.
This is my like comic book Venom. So
I like that. I like that.
Easy.
My only beef with movie Venom is I don't like his feet. Other than that, I like him. Yeah.
If I really wanted to get into it, I could switch them out. But I don't mind
for sure.
Personally.
Yeah. I like the Marvel Legend movie Venom. I think he's it's a really nice figure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm there's certain characters that I'm very particular about, like the size and how they look exactly. And I remember when they showed the Omega Red body the first time, I was like, that body would be perfect for a 90s Sabretooth and a 90s Venom. Like they're just the silhouette it cuts, the size, it would be great. They got butterflies, we're good. It's a good question. Marcus says, if you got a Ghost Panther figure, where would you put it? Black Panther or Ghost Rider? Man. You'd have to buy two.
I would have to buy two, one for each. Yeah. I don't know. I have like kind of a no man's land between the two.
Oh, well, there you go.
Be there by himself.
Just hang out. Have you ever seen One Oak Customs? Any of his work? You should check him out. He does a lot of Ghost Rider stuff, and he's known for his he's known for like hot glue flame effects. I mean,
is he the guy who does the lights for like Mythic Legions and stuff?
I don't think so. No.
There's somebody who does like flame effects that are like that light up, and they're like pretty affordable.
Oh, nice. No, that's not him. No, he mostly is Marvel Legends stuff, but he's done a lot of different Ghost Riders over the years, like a lot. So And he's very good at like, you know, the flame effects and stuff like that. It's really, really cool.
Okay.
So
Yeah. I'll have to check him out. I'm it's funny. You mentioned the like hot glue stuff. I like if you're familiar with Can of Beams.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I have more than I'd like to admit.
I went to high school with Can of Beams.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so I remember when he was beginning and like trying to figure out all this stuff, and he was doing hot stuff with hot glue. He doesn't do it anymore.
No.
But he's like really graduated, and it's his full-time job now.
Yes.
I remember when he was like dabbling with it. I think I have like 2 or 3 of his beams that were like hand hot glued and painted, and all
that's cool
from him.
Yeah. So, his stuff is really awesome. Honestly, like I remember the first time I got something in hand, I was so worried about it being brittle because of how thin it was.
Yeah.
And like I remember I'm not exaggerating. I probably have between Wolverine claws and like effects pieces, I bet you I have about 60 or 70 pieces from him.
Do you count individual claws as one piece, or
no I count the a pair. So like I have a full Wolverine shelf. It's like Wolverine Deadpool.
And
every single one of
claws in there.
Yeah, I replace the first thing I do with a Marvel Hasbro Marvel Legends Wolverine is replace the claws. There are like a couple exceptions to the rules, like the ones they use for like the hot claws Wolverine, the little thicker ones. I don't mind those ones, but the little stick things that come out, I don't like those, and they're kind of just everywhere. They don't.
I just remember the Toy Biz Wolverine with the Fire Club backdrop thing, where it was just like looks like a big J.
Yeah, it didn't really. For
the most part, I am right there with you. I think the only one I haven't replaced the claws on is the the VHS cell shaded Wolverine.
Same here. I kept that one too. If they use those moving forward, I wouldn't change them because I actually think those are the best they've put out. So
yeah,
and I don't usually change the ones on X-Force Wolverine, the gray and black, or now the Hot Claws one. Like I left those as well, but so everything else I've switched. Yeah, I like them to be substantial. I don't like them to just look like little sticks. So it's not for me. So Quebec Diorama, what's up, man? How are you? Nice, thanks for being here. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Neil says Can of Beams just dropped Sweet Blood Sword effect. I actually almost placed an order last week, and I'm like, nope, wait until you redo your display again. I'm in the process right now. My wife and I are considering buying a house. Like we have a condo right now, but we might be upgrading. And one of the selling points she's trying to sell me on is she's like, we'll build a studio in the back for you, like a 10 by 16 studio, right? And like all I can think of is like, oh my god, like this room I'm in right now is like 8 by 8, so like it would be like more than double the space, right?
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I'll wait until we move, and then once I fully redo everything, I'll probably do another order. And because like he did those like punch effect ones that have like the lines, I love those. Yeah. And then like I need more. I just used my last set of Wolverine claws, so I like to always keep a couple on hand, so that way when something comes out, I have it. So. No. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah, Hugh Jackman Wolverine has good claws, but his hands are too small for a comic book Wolverine. They look tiny. So
yeah.
But yeah. So I guess next question. See, these are not really rapid fire.
No, this is the slowest rapid fire.
Yeah.
This is bolt action at best. Yeah.
Favorite villain?
Oh man. I kind of got to choose. I feel like I got to categorize it in the main 2 comic books. Basically, that's it's fair. Like Two-Face for Batman. Like
great choice.
Love Two-Face. He's my favorite.
That's not an everyday answer, so there you go.
Yeah, Two-Face rules. And then Marvel's hard too, but Magneto.
Yeah, Magneto's mine too.
I love Magneto. I can't remember. I don't know if it's like canon or if I was thinking about it like when I was in high school, but like we were learning about like magnetic fields and how even a strong enough magnetic field can like warp photons and stuff like that and like make them like alter course or whatever. And like, I don't know. I can't remember if this was like headcanon or like I read this in a comic book, but like, something like Magneto says like, I am the master of magnetism. And even and even light bends to like magnetism's will, and then like he like can create illusions or some shit with like magnetism because he can like warp light and whatnot. I don't know. I don't know if that's real or not, but I was like, for whatever reason, like that, I was like, oh shit, like he can literally do anything, which is why he's like a Omega class 5 whatever super nuclear mutant.
I'm a big Magneto fan.
Yeah. I just opened the Moth-X today.
So good, right?
It's amazing. Yeah,
it's really, really good. It's I think right now it actually is my top spot for figure of the year.
It's probably up there for me.
Yeah,
now it's rad. Like I love Nightwing too.
Yeah, Nightwing looks great.
I love Nightwing.
I'm not a DC guy.
I opened him at the same time as Magneto, and so it's like, oh, that's cool, Dick. Thanks. And then like just Magneto with the cape and.
My beefs with Magneto are like super minor. Like I always have something, but like I think my biggest thing was like I would love it if the like angry face, if the eyes were whited out. Otherwise, he's fucking great. He's perfect. I like that the hair sticks out of the back of the helmet. I feel like that's a nice touch. The cape's really nice. The effects are nice.
It might be the nicest cape they've done.
I agree.
The only one I can think of that's like on par, if not maybe a little nicer, is the Dark Knight Returns Superman from last year. That cape is like
that's the thicker one, right? Like the
thicker, big boy. The wire that they used in there, like I don't know what like you can like write your name in cursive in that wire. It's like it's gnarly.
Nice, Marcus. Nice. Yeah, Neil, more shelves. I kind of decided that I could probably double my capacity of what I have here, and I could actually stop using the 2 bottom shelves, which is great because as I get older and fatter, those shelves are extremely difficult to redo. So
just sit down. Just sit on the floor.
I can't. I mean, I lay on the floor on my belly. That's how I do it. But like the problem is like my shelves literally take like 6 to 8 hours a piece.
Right.
They're so long, so it just ends up killing me.
God forbid you sneeze during any of that.
After doing this for so long, I've managed to find ways to just make everything stay the way they need to, like little tricks and tips. But not to say it doesn't happen. Like I used to, like the last time I did a shelf reline, I live streamed the process. And I remember one night, like I think I had been doing it for like 2.5 hours maybe, right? And like I had finished like a good chunk of it, and I went to go make one minor adjustment to something in the back and literally knocked all of it down. And I was like, all right, well, fuck this. Let's just call it a night. And like I need to go and smoke a joint because like I'm gonna fucking lose it in a minute. When it comes to Marvel or DC, what do you favor? You obviously dabble in both, but do you have a
dabble
favorite?
In both. I think ultimately, like DC is more of a win for me. Like I'm more into DC. Like I feel like I collect more DC stuff as much as I love my Marvel Legends. I like those characters more, but it's like something about like I can find something I like about most DC characters, whereas like Marvel, it's kind of like, oh, I really only like Spider-Man, X-Men, Black Panther, Ghost Rider. Everybody else, like, don't really care.
Everything else.
I enjoy my Marvel movies and stuff, and I think their movies are incredible.
Yeah, I agree.
But at the same time, like the DC animated movies are like the animated ones are like incredible, like top tier. I'm also like, I'm kind of biased this year because I'm doing a rewatch of Batman the Animated Series with my friend who's never seen it before. So,
are you loving it?
Yeah, no, it's great. We found this like blog post of some guy like reordered the whole series in what he calls chronological order. So it's like completely different viewing order, and it's very interesting, like the choices that he's making. So
cool. I love that.
It kind of makes it new for me, even though I've seen it a bunch of times, and I can like look at it through my friend's eyes, and we talk about it every week. It's fun to do that, eh? Like it's fun when you can get into something with somebody else that and you know it back to front and they don't know it at all. Yeah,
like it's like a reinvigorating way for you to like redo it again and like
and he doesn't even like superhero at all. Like he's aware of Batman, and he knows that his parents died. And that's basically his extent of Batman.
That's great.
Like, getting into like these characters and like why they're so cool and why they're so important, like, and what made this show so great, like, is fun. You know, we talk on the phone basically like once a week for like an hour and a half, and you know, for anyone who's unfamiliar, phone calls are like podcasts that you don't record. So,
tonight I had a phone call for an hour with my best friend back home.
Yeah.
And that's how we chat. We text very little. Like when we connect, we talk on the phone. It's old school as fuck, but it's just it's what we do.
Yeah, so it's been cool. So right now,
phone calls.
Yeah.
Great.
Last week we just watched Robin's Reckoning Part 1 and 2, and then this week we are getting into The Man Who Killed Batman and Perchance to Dream.
Nice, that's awesome.
Solid.
Man, you should do a podcast with that, because I feel like that would be fun for people who maybe like are again either discovering it for the first time or have a deep appreciation for it. Like,
yeah, you know? Maybe it's also one of those works that's been so studied so often.
Yeah, I guess.
How much more can I add to it? You know.
Sure. That's fair, especially because time has to go into it, right? So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My friend has 2 kids. He can barely watch the episodes.
Yeah. That's different. Okay, this one you can't say Super 7.
Okay.
Favorite toy line, or you don't have to say your absolute favorite, but you know, top toy lines outside of Super 7.
Man, just by sheer volume, it should probably be Marvel Legends. That I have more of those than anything. But right now, like, just Mafex's comic book line, like, no one can touch them. Like,
I agree.
They're all basically perfect.
Yeah, I agree.
In every way. Like, now that I realized, like, I didn't collect them when they had all their QC issues that people really, you know, knew them for, but like right now, like they're all incredible. They're all great. Like worth every penny.
I definitely had some of the QC stuff. Like I had like, you know, I think I still actually have like Captain Phasma, and I had Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren was like a fucking ragdoll, man. Just like, you know, just, and then like R2D2 and 3PO from the sequel trilogy. Like, man, you couldn't even look at 3PO. He fucking fall apart. He's a mess.
Well, it seems like they really dialed in their plastic tolerances and stuff. They're very interesting in that they do a lot of ABS, which doesn't have a lot of give plastic wise. But something about whatever, you know, other joint plastics they use, be it nylon, POM, polypropylene, any of that kind of stuff, like something about it. I don't know what it's made out of, but it just works. And like, it's kind of the one toy line that like I sort of just turn my like toy designer brain off and just like enjoy again, you know. But like when I get out and get into other stuff, it's like, oh, why'd they do this? What is it like this? And then I like mess with it more. But like when it's Mafex, it's just like, oh, okay, like it's just
they are pretty great, and I like that they can just do what you need them to do. That's the thing I like the most about them, right? And I also appreciate the artist specific look of the characters as well. I feel like they nail that down pretty good as well. So nice.
They're high up there, but that, you know, that of course could be recency bias. Ask me
that's I mean, the thing is we're getting dumped on with stuff from them right now, right? In the past 2 months we've had what, like 7 releases or 6 releases or something, like
something
crazy.
What was it? Robo did that like play day of like 5 and Mafexes all at once.
Yeah, I saw X-Force Deadpool in stock on Toy Snowman the other day, and I was just cruising for something to buy, and I almost bought it, and I was like, no, I'm not. I'm gonna behave. I'm not gonna even, like, I like the look, but like I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna wait. I'll wait till they do it in red. When they do that in like,
they're gonna do a reissue in red.
There's no way. When they do the red one, I'll buy it for sure. Like I have the first one. I have the Marvel Now version, and I like it a lot, but yeah. Oh, that's funny. Marcus said I had to return the first Hush Superman
Bummer.
because it kept falling apart and smelled like 10 factories condensed into one figure. I don't know if
Oh
that's
man,
good or not. It sounds pretty gross.
I know what that's like. I got a sample recently from a factory. That this has never happened before. Usually, it like smells like the paint room in a factory, which is like a very distinct smell, and that's fine. Because sometimes like it's literally like they're in the paint room when they bag it to send it to me. So it like captures.
So you
that,
get
like,
everything. You get the environment.
Yeah. But the sample, this one that I got smelled like it smoked 10 packs a day on the road. It was like pure nicotine and tobacco and like ash. I was like, what is this made out of? Like I don't know, like nicotine gum or something. Like it's horrible. So I had to like leave the figure outside for like a day because it was like giving me a headache. I couldn't
air it out. Air it out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's funny. I know the answer to this. Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Donatello. Next question.
The right answer. The right answer. That's the first rapid fire we did.
The right answer is whichever turtle brings you the most joy and you have the biggest connection to. The only wrong answer is Leonardo.
I agree. Leonardo's the worst.
Yeah. Yeah, and I felt so vindicated because even like that newest trailer for the new movie that comes out in August, like Leo fucking narcs on him immediately. And I was like, aha, I told you guys.
How are you feeling about that movie?
I'm excited.
Me too.
Spider-Verse, but turtles, like, yeah.
Yep, I agree. I see a lot of similarities, and I like the idea. I like that they're like kids. Like to me, there's a lot of fun to be had with that. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm excited.
I think the part that's gonna be the hardest to get used to is Donnie's voice.
Me too. That's the only thing that I'm not crazy about, but it's not enough to make.
But he's also a kid.
Oh,
He's a kid, so in the sequel, his voice will have changed by then.
Yeah,
so he'll be fine.
He'll drop his shell will drop, and he'll be good. Last kind of quick question, even though these aren't quick.
Yeah, I mean,
do you have a favorite movie from your childhood? Like, what's a favorite movie of yours from your childhood?
Man, I've talked about it a lot just because it had the Power Rangers the movie trailer in front of it, but as a kid I really liked this movie called The Page Master with Macaulay Culkin. It is like,
I think I know what you're talking about, but
it's
I don't
him. He like goes into the New York City Public Library and gets trapped inside of like book worlds. Like he fights like Moby Dick and Mr. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Like there's like cute little animated books that like help him. It's like kind of like a horror like animated movie with Macaulay Culkin. It's pretty fun. So
he's animated to look like Macaulay Culkin, right?
No, it's live action him, but everything else around him is animated.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. I don't think I've seen that.
Oh wait, no, I think
does it hold up?
I think he is animated.
Okay.
Later, I think he is. He does become animated. You're right. It's been so long since I've seen that movie. So
that's fair.
Yeah, the Page Master game was sick too. Yeah. So,
I didn't.
Yeah.
SNES
Page Master was awesome. I'd love to do Page Master stuff, but nobody remembers that. All three people who remember it are in the chat right now.
They're all here.
Me, Marcus, and Figurama.
There are dozens of us.
Yeah, exactly. That was a big one as a kid. Also, I'm trying to think. The Godzilla vs. Destroya was the first Godzilla movie I ever saw as a kid, which is because he dies.
Godzilla dies?
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
I'm not a Godzilla guy. The most I've seen is like the newer ones I've seen, and they're fine.
Yeah.
They're
spoilers. That movie is 28 years old now.
You're ruining it for everyone. God, come on.
Just you. Yeah, that. It was Star Wars, even though it came out. Like, it was interesting. I was, as a kid, I was raised Catholic, and for my first communion, everybody has a big party or whatever for your first communion. I got like a bike and some Pokemon cards. But then one of my dad's coworkers got me the Star Wars Special Edition VHSs. And
oh my God, I love
like,
those.
Whatever Catholicism, here's my new religion. And
This
so
is it.
I was like right at the right time, right age.
That's actually when I got into Star Wars. I'm not sure our age difference. I'm 39.
Okay, 6 years older than me.
Yeah, so like I didn't get into Star Wars until that box that you're talking about. The gold. I had the gold one. The trilogy.
Gold is the special. Silver
Yes.
is the original.
Right. I had the gold one. So
same.
And yeah, that was my entry. To be honest with you, my entry into Star Wars was actually, it started from Spaceballs. Because I saw Spaceballs and was laughing my ass off and wanted to know what it was parodying. So once I found out, I watched it and got into it. But really, it kind of all stemmed from Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back on Super Nintendo. That's actually where I got into Star Wars. Yeah, right. I got it for like dirt cheap. I bought it for like $10 maybe, and I played it. I remember I played it like all day and night one New Year's Eve when I was a kid, and like it kicked off my interest like immediately, and I was like, oh yeah, here we go. So yeah, love it.
Very good.
I had a question that I was hoping, I want to make sure I get in before we finish up, but is there, and again, like answer however you, whatever's safe for you.
Go through that whole list you sent me. I'm good on time. So.
Okay. Is there a property that you wish that you could work on at Super 7? Like, is there some, what if there was nothing on the table and there was no restrictions, what's a property that you would want to kind of take the lead on with Super 7?
I mean, I kind of get to do that already, which is pretty great. And I've done DC stuff. I've done Marvel stuff. I'd love to do those again.
Yeah.
Like some DC stuff, but at the same time, like there's so much good stuff out there. I don't know.
What have you done, Marvel and DC?
Marvel stuff, none of it came out, so that's fun. And DC, I actually got my start doing DC stuff. I worked on this like blind box series called The Little Bombshells. But everybody remember DC Bombshells? There's like those statues.
I remember DC Bombshells.
Those. I worked at a smaller board game company that was trying to get into collectibles, and we did like little blind box plastic versions of those characters. And that was the first toy line I ever worked on.
Oh, cool! That's awesome.
So they weren't articulated; they were little baby statues and stuff.
Okay. And when you were doing that at that time, was that done digitally, or were you sculpting that by hand?
No, it was all digital too.
It was digital. Okay. Have you pretty much always worked digitally since you've been in the toy industry?
Yeah. I think there was one day that I worked analog for like the thrill of it, and then I was like, wow, this takes a really long time. I'm gonna go back to digital. It's way faster. Just because with pipeline and how fast timelines have to move, like it's invaluable to be able to work digitally and edit and do all this stuff. So
when I was running the Secret Santa last year, the year before, I kind of started chatting a bit with that Zelu 1984 guy, the guy who works on the Mondo stuff and some of the NECA stuff.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, so like we were kind of talking, and he had alluded to working with Mondo and NECA a little bit. Like he obviously couldn't say anything, but like he had kind of mentioned that he had started to kind of do some freelance stuff for them. And he's like, all my time goes to learning digital sculpting, because he's like, I started by like sculpting by hand and like sending in pieces, but he's like, as soon as they say they need to resize something, I have to do it all again. So he's like, I see the value in a digital sculpt now, because it's like, for me to resize it takes like 2 seconds, but for me to have to like go back and actually do the whole thing over again, that's like, weeks and weeks and weeks of work, right? So
I mean, there are other ways to get around doing that. Like you can 3D. I don't need to explain it to him, but it is good. Like it's all digital processes that help him get there.
Yeah, so. And that's where the industry's going too, right? Or is probably, right? Like it's
where it's been for a long time.
Yeah.
So.
That's one of the things that I've set as a goal for myself, but I'm half the year in and I haven't even started. So, but I would really love to be able to like I see the value for certain things, especially right things where you need like consistency, like like an elbow pad or some shoulder pads or like something that needs to be the same on both sides. Like I love to sculpt, like I do, but there's nothing more annoying that you sculpt and then you step back and you look at it and you're like, oh fuck, that's like not the same at all, like not even close.
There's tools in there that are very helpful, like symmetry tools, and you can import previous files. So if you have to reuse 90% of a body, pull in that body and then sculpt in the new parts, right? So it's like it's basically like the digital version of your kit bashing that you're doing, right?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, see, that would be. I mean, I would get lost in that too. I would. Kit bashing is one of my favorite things. It's like so therapeutic to just pull shit out and just, all right, let's see what I can make with all this shit, and just yeah, it's fun. So I've had a lot of cool projects come to be because of just piecing shit together and being like, oh, that would look good. So
yeah.
So
to answer the question though,
what up, D? Yeah.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Even though the last time I said I wanted to work on something, NECA stole it. There's no way that they watched it, so it doesn't matter. I wanted to work on gargoyles really, really badly. And I had pitched gargoyles from day one since starting there, and then they got it, and I was just like, I'm going to take today off. I'm heart sick. No, the thing I would want to work on is Metalocalypse. I think that would be
Metalocalypse,
an incredible toy line. That is an Adult Swim show.
Okay.
About the world's biggest metal band, and it is brutal and funny and gross. And there's a new metal song every week, and it's really fun. Really, really cool characters. I highly recommend it. So
awesome. Let's talk about music. So you're obviously into heavily into music. Yeah. I know that Ghost is your favorite or one of your favorite bands. I know you represent quite a bit. Is that your favorite band, or? I
would probably, by almost by default at this point.
Yeah.
Listen to them a lot. So
like when I see the name Ghost, I associate it with you.
Oh, well, thank you. That's I guess that's all I can hope for, right?
Because I'm not familiar with them, right? So
if you want to take the journey up Ghost Mountain, I'm happy to be your Sherpa one day. So,
okay, good.
But yeah, it's cool. They're fun band. They're so toyetic. They're so mysterious. They wear masks. No one knows what they look like. I mean,
oh, I love that.
That's
like Gwar.
It's like Gwar light.
Yeah.
And
okay.
The way that they look, like you expect, like this, like very, very like heavy, super dark type stuff, and like their content is, but like their sounds are more like, the way I describe them is the like satanic second coming of Blue Oyster Cult. They're like closer to that.
Oh, okay. So, interesting.
And the other
I might do a dive into some Ghost music tonight, maybe.
Yeah. The other one that I use is You Can't Spell Black Sabbath without ABBA. That also applies to them. So.
So would you say that I know we all kind of dip into like different style of music, but would you say the majority of the music you listen to is mostly like in that realm of like hard rock?
Yeah, hard rock, metal, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Pretty much.
When I was younger, I played in a bunch of like hardcore bands, so I kind of, which is weird because like I am not a hard, I was like playing hardcore shows and wearing like Atticus shirts, like Blink fucking Blink merch and shit, right? And everyone's like, who's this fucking guy? But yeah, I'm like I'm very much, I do my musical tastes kind of go everywhere, but I would say like as I've aged, I've really kind of gone back to like my pop punk and punk rock roots. That's kind of where I live mostly these days, but every once in a while I dabble in something different. But
I think there's some sort of study that was like you gravitate in your later years towards like the music you were listening to from like when 12 to 16 or something like that.
Yeah.
So, and for me,
that
was
makes
a lot
sense.
of classic rock and heavy metal. So,
how did you get into that? Were your parents big on like classic rock?
My dad is really big into classic rock stuff, and I remember when I was 12, he got me the CD player stereo that I still have. It's actually down here. It's a 50 CD changer, even though I never used.
That's amazing.
And he got me 4 or 5 like kind of compilation album CDs, like Led Zeppelin, Early Days, Later Days, Deep Purple Best of, Black Sabbath Best of, and I think like AC/DC Best of. And that was like, he was just like, oh, and it was Van Halen Best of, and he was just like, go
have at her.
Yeah, exactly. And like he didn't care if I like turned the knob all the way up. My mom was not stoked. But
now she's got you doing it and him doing it. So
for sure. My dad is like famous for like, time to do the dishes, like
cranker.
Yeah, exactly. He would do like, when we were little kids, we'd have like dance parties like while he's like doing the dishes or whatever, like down in the living room.
I love that.
So
I guess. So is that something that you and your dad bonded over then? Like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's sick, man. I love that.
I actually I now, because I have that collector gene, and I'm pretty sure I got it from him, because he never throws anything away. He doesn't collect anything; he collects garbage. But like not half, but probably a quarter of what I now have of a record collection is his original.
Was his
first pressings and stuff. So
that's sick, man. That's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah, I wish I had that. Like, like my dad passed away like the year before COVID, and I had it is what it is, right? But like I always disliked the music that my parents listened to growing up, and now I love it. Like I grew up in Windsor, Ontario, which is like just south of like Detroit, Michigan. So my parents listened to a ton of Motown, and now I have a deep I love Motown now, but in the day I was like, fuck, what the fuck is this?
My mom is really into Motown, not the rock and roll stuff. And it's funny you mentioned that, because I was born in Rochester, Michigan, and we lived in Clarkston.
Oh, okay.
We lived in Clarkston until I was 6 or 7.
Oh, okay, cool.
So all of my family's from Detroit. All of my cousins live up there, like Grosse Pointe and the surrounding areas. So like, nice. Yeah, very familiar with Windsor. Just going across the bridge. We used to go across the bridge for breakfast.
I mean, the nice thing about it was like it was so convenient to do that. We used to go to, when I was like 15, I would just go to concerts downtown Detroit at St. Andrews Hall, and like we would just take the tunnel bus over. It literally took us 15 minutes. Like it was so fast. Yeah, like it was just like going to a place in town, except it was in the States, so you had to go through customs, but otherwise easy peasy. Yeah. So, but yeah, I spent a lot of time growing up in Detroit. Like my mom shopped there all the time, so like I was always there with her, and so
very good.
Kind of, it's a good place. But yeah, I wish I had that. Like, now that I have the love that I have for Motown, I wish that like I could share it with my dad. Like it didn't come till much later in life, right? And like even over the past just like 5 years, I would say. But like I moved away from Ontario, so even the last few 7 or 8 years of my dad's life, like I was in BC, so like I only saw him twice a year maybe, right? So I wish I could have had a similar situation to yours, where like got to really bond with my dad. I mean, I did have a relationship like that with my dad, but just wasn't centered around music, which is a humongous part of my life, right? Music.
I think it was like, more forced on me than like than anything. These records got to go somewhere, kids. Start liking this now.
Here you go. Yeah. It's living in your room whether you like it or not.
Yeah. No, it's good. So, and every Tuesday I try and play like one of the vinyls that I have.
That's just sick.
To like try and pay more attention to it or whatever. And my dad will oh, what are you listening to today? It's like, look at my stories, Dad. I try to post it. It's okay. So.
What do you go to a lot of concerts, or do you?
I do.
Yeah.
Probably more than I should.
Yeah,
I'm going to one tomorrow with.
Oh, nice. Who are you seeing?
With everyone's favorite Mezconian, Fobster 360. So we'll be going to that. The show, it's a band called Midnight, and you'd actually really like them. They're very punk rock type music.
Note here.
I kind of describe them as like Motorhead and death metal together.
Okay.
Very, very good. They also wear masks. No one knows what they look like. It's very fun.
Oh, I love
a lot of raw energy and stuff. There's definitely a theme. Like I also really like Daft Punk too. So
okay, so yeah, obviously the theme carries on, right?
Something about that. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's a theatrics piece, right? It's fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Like their music is one component, and then the show is the other component, right? And it's like it's cool when bands do both of those things really well.
Yeah, usually what I'll tell people is if you can't get into Ghost, like if you see them live, you'll get into Ghost.
Nice.
So
okay. So question about both Ghost and Midnight.
Yeah.
What's a good starting point for somebody? Like, so I've never listened to either. If I was gonna jump into both of those, where would you recommend I start?
Okay. For Ghost, the album I recommend is called Meliora. It is their third studio album. Yes, this is signed. I might be bragging a little bit. So this was the album that I heard first.
Okay.
And really enjoyed. And then after that, I would get into Ritual, which is their first one.
Ritual?
Or not Ritual. It's called Opus Eponymous, but it has Ritual on it.
Oh, okay. I see. Opus. What is it called?
Opus Eponymous.
Okay.
Those are the two I'd recommend for Ghosts. And then you can get into the other stuff. For Midnight, I'm pretty new to them myself. This will be the first time I'm seeing them live. So
cool.
Pretty excited. But their most recent studio album, called Sex Witchery, is really good.
Awesome.
The other one I like is called Rebirth by Blasphemy. So
okay.
All
right, cool. I will have to check those out. Cheney just recently gave me a bunch of albums, like his favorite albums, and I went and kind of checked a bunch of them out, and there was a couple that kind of caught me. So I was like, oh, cool. It's fun to find new old music, like stuff that I'm not.
It's going to be interesting. Like Ghost and Midnight, while both like satanic in their themes and nature, like are almost complete polar opposites.
Oh, okay.
Midnight is about like power and speed, and like the vocals are like a little bit on the screamier side, a little bit. I like punkier. But then like Ghost is like melodic, atmospheric, orchestral, technical, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So it depends on like what your mileage may vary on the mood that you're in when you start it.
Yes, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I kind of dabble in a little bit of everything. Like even in the heavier stuff, like there are some heavier bands that I either listened to or listened to when I was kind of in my band days. But like I have a pretty good palette when it comes to music, which I'm pretty grateful for. So,
I like to think that I do too. But even every now and then, like there's some like I'll hear something like, oh no, never mind.
That's not for me.
Yeah. Well, because like, all right, so I started like getting into like making more battle jackets, which are like the vests that you wear to like shows with the patches and stuff.
Like, yeah.
And Fabio has been doing it with me, and we've been like collecting patches and like sending each other links to like cool patches and stuff. And like I was trying to find the like, I don't know, the perfect back patch, the like centerpiece for the back. That's like the big one that you want, right? And then you do all the
I love that you're saying this right now.
You do all the little ones around it. And I was just like, I just like put into eBay like, I don't know, heavy metal back patches, and just you just scroll and see what happens.
Away you go.
Yeah, and there was like, I can't remember what it was called. It was like, there was this one band that was like, it had the sickest back patch. It was like it was like a pentagram, and then but it had like a goat dude like firing a bow like into like the off camera, right? And these big ass horns and stuff. And it was something like, I want to say it was something like Belial or something like that, some or whatever, Satan or whatever. And I was like, oh fuck, that's like the sickest back patch. But it was like, I can't put a back patch on for like a band I don't know. Like that gets you
especially if it's your centerpiece.
Yeah. Like that's gonna get you into trouble. Some dude who like actually does the band just be like, oh, like name 3 songs.
You're like, oh fuck.
So I listened to him so I could like justify buying this fucking bitchin' back patch, and it was just like, I was like, nope, I'm good. I'm done.
Remove from cart.
Yeah. It's super sick though. I'll have to see if I can like find it and send it to you because it is rad. But
that takes me back to like the first band I was ever in. I was in a band called Repeat Until False, and we were like post hardcore, like screamo band, like pretty heavily influenced by like old school punk, like Casualties, like Minor Threat, like you know, like. And our lead singer had the tallest mohawk in the scene. So he had like a 14-inch mohawk. We used to have to do it with glue, and we would put it through. We had like this one geography textbook from his school, and like he would have to sit on the couch, and me and our merch girl would like press his hair into it with wax paper, and he would have to sit, and we'd be blow drying it, and like it was the most ridiculous thing. But he always had like the patchwork like vest, right? He would go and buy like a Dickies vest, rip the sleeves off, and like we're putting spikes on it, we're putting fucking patches on everything, putting buttons on everything, and it was just like it became like a thing that we all just started doing. And like even though like, you know, all of us look like we were from different genres of music in our band, like none of us really kind of fit one kind of thing. I was a pop punk kid, and John was an emo kid, and Nate just wore the whatever the fuck he could find, and Adam was like oi fucking straight edge punk, you know. And like, but yeah, man, we all got into like kind of doing the patch thing. It wasn't necessarily vests for all of us, but like, you know, I did it to like my guitar bag or my bass bag, and you know, like everyone kind of had something where it kind of became like kind of piecemeal patchies. And yeah, man, it was always a good time, always looking for it. But you know, even speaking about that, like kind of what I've kind of replaced that with now is like enamel pins. And you sent me those enamel pins when you sent me these. Actually, I just went to California last week. I went for work, and usually when I go on a trip, I'll like just put a couple pins on my bag, and I kind of just, because I've started to kind of collect enamel pins, I kind of just swapped them out, and I took the Minotaur one that you sent me and had that one on me, and really like that one. It's really fucking nice, man.
Hell yeah. Very good. Yeah.
So what's that? Is that a project that you're kind of working on the side, or was that just kind of for fun, or? It
was mostly for fun. At one point it was going to be a very serious Kickstarter. It was basically this toy line that I kind of ideated on my own in between jobs, called Mythical Metalheads, which was like heavy metal aesthetics on mythological creatures and characters, you know. I even got so far as to like making prototypes, and I exhibited at DesignerCon in 2019. But then you know, pandemic hit and everything just kind of slowed down. And I spent, you know, I think it was probably close to like 10 grand just trying to do all that stuff and get to that point. And so I have them here, and I show them off every now and then. To those who are interested. But
is that something you could ever see yourself kind of sparking back up again, or?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if I would do it in the same way. Like when I did these.
That's sick.
When I did these, I was very much like I was a statue guy. I had never done anything with articulation before. So
that's sick, you know, man. I love
that. They're static, but at the same time, like they're mine. So we were talking about the patches. I like got to, I don't know, part of the fun was like creating patches for this guy to like be on his like
on his figure. Yeah.
So he's got like a button and a patch that's like, it says, probably can't see it, but it says Asmodeus and Got Milk. And then back here, Massacre was what the name of like a heavy metal comic I was going to do years and years ago was going to be.
That's cool, man.
This one says Dairy Destroyer.
Dairy Destroyer. That's great. I love that. Yeah, the Minotaur in particular, I really like it. It's really cool.
There were two more, and then I will stop showing off here.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the screen up again.
This is the devil.
That's
This is
so
golden
cool.
guitar.
I like it.
There's a pentagram and flames on his like
Bass.
amp here.
That's sick, man. That's so dope.
Yeah, the face is based off of the Nameless Ghoul masks from the Melior era, and then he's got the Dimebag Darrell goatee, the pink.
I love it.
And then lastly is
this one's cool too.
So my painter,
sick,
bless her soul, hand painted all of these snake decals.
That's
like I gave her vector files
insane.
to do it, but she just was like, it'll look better if
I'm gonna paint it. Yeah.
So,
man, I can appreciate the patience that goes into something like that. I don't have it, but
yeah. And like her back says Vipera, which is
that's cool.
Genus of like boa constrictors, but it's the same font as Pantera.
That's sick, dude. I
try to put like little Easter eggs everywhere. Like, he has a tattoo of a pentagram, but then also it's a snake with an apple.
Oh, cool.
And then on his other arm, you can't really see it, but he has a morning star.
Oh, that's great, man. That's fucking great.
That's one of his many names.
You should do reaction figures. That'd be sick.
I would love to. I don't think Flynn has any interest in these things.
I understand.
When you get hired, you have to announce, or not announce, you have to like proclaim what they call like previous inventions or whatever.
Okay.
Which is like, basically just like if there's anything you want to claim as your own, you didn't do it before, you did it before Super 7 or you worked for any of that stuff, because then like, if you do something and it becomes super successful, but you didn't claim it before, then they could technically like say, hey, you did that while you worked for us. That's ours.
Yep. Like,
companies suck. I love Super 7, but every company is like that. It's just
normal. I feel like that those kind of measures have to be in place. Yeah. Like for something like that, like I feel like that, like
I put these on there, and I remember talking to them. I was like, oh, like, is it a big deal? Like, if I do these, like, I'm thinking about maybe making them into figures or whatever. Like, I just don't want to, like, I don't just want there to be any competition. And Flynn was like,
of course,
there is no competition. And then like walked away. I was like, all right, cool. You have to say it like that. Laughed in my face.
Have you ever like played in a band, or have you ever like wanted to get into music in that capacity?
No, that's never been my thing. Everybody's got like those fantasies or whatever. But, like, I never have enough time to practice it. And when I was learning guitar, like, I played from when I was like basically from like 14 to 17.
Okay.
And then I remember like I wasn't practicing as much. It wasn't as fun anymore. And like, I don't know. I just remember getting more joy out of drawing. And so I remember specifically like breaking up with my guitar teacher and be like, look, man, I'm going to like make this art thing work. And so far it has.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, part of me wishes I could have just like made myself keep going, because that's hard. Someone early on in like middle school told me like, hey, you're gonna learn guitar, cool. You're gonna hit a point where you fucking hate it, and you never want to do it anymore. But keep going. And I was like, all right, I'm
easier said than done.
And I for sure did. But I did just buy a new guitar to try and stuff on, because I know I have an Epiphone Les Paul at my parents' house.
Okay.
But going there to get it would also probably mean that I have to take like all of the stuff that's stored at their house with me, and I don't have the space for that. So I'd rather pay the $200 for this new guitar and not deal with that.
That's funny.
That'll be here tomorrow. So I'm excited.
If we do inevitably move and I end up getting kind of more space, I kind of decided that I'm gonna, like, the hardest thing for me is like I still have a bass guitar, And I have like a head, like an amp, like a head, but I don't have a speaker because at the time when I got it, I was living in an apartment. I mean, I'm living in an apartment now, but I couldn't play through a speaker because like I couldn't. I was in an apartment, right? So like I would play through like studio headphones is what I did, but I just didn't find it as enjoyable as like hearing it like in a like setting, you know. So I kind of decided that if we end up moving, I'm gonna actually I'm going to buy a little speaker and I'm going to set up my bass and leave it out. So that way, like if the mood strikes me, I can just pick it up and just go. Right. So
you can noodle. That's the point.
I can fucking do it. Yeah. But the problem is when everything's packed away, I'm just like,
yeah,
it's too much work. And to be honest, like I don't have fucking time. Like,
yeah,
I spend all my time customizing. That's like, it almost becomes like a second job. Like I probably put a good 20, 25 hours a week in. Right. So it's like, it's a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't. What I will say is it's good to have it out, but it's also not going to guarantee it either. Like I have this out all the time,
right?
But I never do anything with it. That also could be because I didn't learn on an acoustic. I learned on an electric, and so it's.
I tried to pick up an acoustic guitar, and I really struggled with it. So
I now understand what people say when they mean like, "Oh, the action's too high for me." And I was like, "Oh, now I get it."
You get it. Well, I remember like I got into this like kind of like emo band like early 2000s, and like they used to talk about how they wrote all their music on an acoustic guitar. That's how they wrote, right? So I was like, oh, I'm gonna try to get into some like I bought an acoustic guitar, and I'm like, I'm gonna learn how to play on an acoustic. And yeah, man, I fucking sucked. I was so bad. And just like, yeah, I mean, the thing is with an acoustic is like, it's very obvious when you're playing something wrong. Like, whereas an electric guitar, like you can at least hide it a little bit with the distortion and with the effects and stuff. Like, at least it's not as noticeable. But when you do something wrong on an acoustic, it is extremely obvious that is not right. Yeah. So, yeah. Had to put that away real quick. I think I only lasted about a year with that. And I was like, you know what? I'm good. Let's pass that along to somebody else. So
I don't know where I'm going
to okay.
Who knows?
Just hang it somewhere, wherever there's free real estate, which obviously there's nowhere in that room.
Pretty much. Yeah, nothing. So we'll see.
Pretty full.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get one more question and then we'll wrap this up. So what has been your favorite figure of this year so far? Or, again, doesn't have to be a top favorite, but what has been one of your favorites of the year? And what are the figures that you're most excited for 2023?
Ones that I worked on, or just?
I mean, if you want to answer both, I'm more than okay with that.
I can do both.
Okay. Yeah.
I can do both only because I can't talk about the ones that I'm excited for work.
Oh, okay.
They are coming. The one that I'm the most.
Are we talking new properties? Or are we talking existing properties?
Not new properties.
Okay.
The one that I'm the most excited for that I've worked on this year will be a San Diego exclusive.
Oh shit! So we'll be seeing it soon then.
You will be seeing it soon.
Fuck yeah!
I'm looking at it right now. Very excited. It's very personal to me. So once that gets announced, I hope I can talk about it a little bit more on some streams and stuff, because I'm very excited about that one. It has a
nice,
kind of an origin, its origin story is very stemmed in my own origin story. So I'm very excited.
I love that.
And the one that I'm proud of so far this year is probably either Goldar or the Tyrannosaurus Dinosaur. Both of really those nice. Turned out so good, and
yeah, I don't
know. It's again high on my own supply there. So
that, but man, really, again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's they're the stuff that you've put out is great, man. Honestly, I know I'm not a huge consumer of Super 7 stuff, but sure. It's got nothing to do with what it is. It's right. More just it's a lot of times it's just scale based, or whatever the reason may be, but it's not because I don't enjoy a Super 7 figure. I've got a few, right? I got some older stuff too. I got the movie He-Man and Skeletor from Masters of the Universe line from back in the day.
Those are one of the first Ultimates I ever worked on.
Oh, you worked on those? I didn't know that.
Yep.
That's sick, man. Yeah, those are. I've had those for a long time. I bought them. They were kind of one of the first things that wasn't like Marvel related that I bought.
Yeah, those are pricey now too. You could sell those and buy that.
Yeah, they are. Yep. Oh yeah. Well, it's like I've had people like look at them, like see pictures in my collection because I keep them at work, and I've had people be like, "Where did you get those sick head sculpts for?" Because I think people thought they were the Mattel ones that just got released, right? And I'm like, "No, these aren't Mattel, man. These are the Super 7 ones."
Yeah,
like way better, man. They're way nicer.
Yeah. And then, all right, anticipated figures. Well, we mentioned this earlier, but last week, I myself ordered the reissue of the Soul of Chogokin, Megazord and Dragon Zord.
I didn't know they reissued them.
They did, and it was very, very limited, and I got very, very lucky. Got it.
Nice.
So, very excited about that.
Have you ever have you handled those before?
No, I've never had any Soul of Chogokin anything. But my friend Johnny Sergeant Bananas has the Soul Chogokin Gypsy Danger, and he was like showing me it, like how it moves and like the metal parts. And I was like, oh man.
Yeah. It completely lived up to my expectation. Like I had an expectation going in, and I was hopeful that it wouldn't disappoint, especially at the price point. And when I got them in hand, I was in love. I actually think I live streamed it, and like I feel like people were commenting on like my genuine reaction of how amazing they were, because they're really phenomenally well done.
They've always been on my radar, but they're so expensive. So this reissue was $350 for both of them.
That's pretty good.
And I was like, all right, done.
Yeah,
easy. It's like Megazord on its own is like $400.
Yep. So. I was hunting, like I had been hunting because I wanted them, but like I just couldn't spend the money. Yeah. And then I think when I got the money, I was just quick to get whatever one. I basically looked on eBay, and like whatever the cheapest one was, I bought. Like even though it was like more than I wanted to pay, but like I had the money, so I'm like, I'm fucking doing it.
Yeah.
But I got a good deal on Dragon Zord. I think he was about $190.
Okay.
Which was pretty solid for the time. I think Megazord was a bit higher. I feel like Megazord was like something 320 or 340, but like again, we're going back a few years now, right? But
for that metric, I'm doing pretty good, I think.
So. Yeah, that's sick, man. Congrats. I didn't even know they had released them, so they're great. You're gonna love them.
I'm stoked. They won't be here till November, but
that's okay.
I'll be ready.
There's enough to keep you busy until then.
Yeah, and then there's also a Soul Chogokin Mechagodzilla that's coming out.
Cool.
From 2003. Godzilla.
Oh, so another reissue, or is it a new
figure? It's brand new.
Okay, cool.
And it's got the die cast parts and the lights and the battle damage parts, and
that's sweet.
So really excited about that.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's a good one to be anticipating. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one to be anticipating.
Yeah.
So you're gonna love them, especially as somebody who appreciates figures like you do.
Yeah,
you're gonna fall in love with them, man. They're really great.
Yeah. So far, I'm really digging, like we said, that Magneto.
Yep.
The SHF Toby Spidey.
Nice.
And for my birthday, I realized this is a very vanilla pose. So.
Mine are en route. Finally, I can't wait.
Good.
I'm really excited for the Mega Man line myself. I mean, I love Street Fighter, and I'm 100% all in. But to be honest, like Mega Man, I'm gonna buy them up like crazy because I'm worried they're not going to get to the full roster that I want.
That's good. You're voting with your dollar like you're supposed to.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to buy more so that way, in case something happens where they have to stop, I have parts to use to make customs to finish out some of the lineup. So
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I was on my shelf earlier. I had them fighting.
How do you like those Jada? Do you like that Fei Long? Did you just get Fei Long, or did you get Ryu too?
I have both.
Do you? Yeah.
And I'll probably get. I already pre-ordered Chun-Li, and I'll probably get the Dark Ryu from San Diego.
Me too.
Like,
looks great.
Guess I collect Street Fighter now.
I've always had the Figuarts one, so like I was super bummed when they stopped, and now that Jade is doing them, I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, no, I'm pumped about this. I would love to get like a legit Bruce Lee head sculpt to put on this.
Yeah,
That'd be sick. I realize he's bigger and bulkier than Bruce Lee, but I don't really care.
Then yeah, but that's okay. You could pass that off for an action figure.
But at the same time,
That's
like
fine.
when I did play Street Fighter, many moons ago for 6 months, I played Fei Long. So
Did you? Yeah.
That
nice to have him as a starting point.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It was a great first. Like for me, I'm excited mostly for Fei Long because I don't have him in figure form yet, right? Like Figure Arts never made one. But yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, from what I'm seeing of them, I feel like I'm probably going to actually replace my Figure Arts with Jada at home and bring my Figure Arts to work and have like a second display at work and do that. But yeah, I think so. Yeah, sense. I like the aesthetic. I like that they pulled right from the sprites, like the character select screen. I really like that. So yeah,
Fei Long's a good choice just because he's a good generic body, right?
Totally.
So you're gonna get a lot of use out of this mold.
I bought extras of him and Ryu just for the sake of customizing.
Yep. So and Wave 2 looks good too. So
sure does. Yep, sure does.
Excited.
I'm waiting for a Balrog. I really want a Balrog, and I really would like a properly scaled Sagat.
Oh yeah,
the figure arts one is way too small, and the Storm one is way too big. So like to fit into it, I tried I bought a Zangief, a Storm Zangief, and like he fucking like towers over everyone. So I just kind of like tuck him in the back, and I'm like, you can hang out back there for now, and whatever.
I'd love to see Zangief. I'd love to see Sagat. Out of morbid curiosity, I'm very curious to see how they handle Cammy and her problematic outfit. So how do you do that and get it placed on shelf in Target
at a Target? Yeah, right? Totally.
Like totally. The argument is that it's in the back. So, but who knows?
Uh-oh. Do we freeze up? Can you hear me, Kyle?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, there we go. Sorry, we kind of froze up a little bit.
No, you're good. My bad. I think the argument is that Cammy's the problematic area is in the back. So
yes, you might be able to get away with it.
Might be, but as soon as a kid buys that, it's Walmart tends to have more of those issues than Target does.
Sure. I guess it's not in the toy aisle either, right? It's in the collector's aisle.
It is in the collector's.
So maybe they can get away with it like that. I don't know. But
who knows? Not gonna overthink it.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, is there anything you wanted to mention or chat about before we kind of close up here?
No, man. I just, thanks for having me on. Thanks for supporting the lines. Yeah, go to super7.com. Check out current pre-orders.
Get your turtles. Get your
Papa Emeritus 3 for Ghost is currently up. The Conan the Barbarian.
You obviously had a hand in that, yeah?
That is my favorite version of Papa. That is the Papa that is singing on that Meliora album that I recommended to you. Yep. So you're gonna listen to it, you're gonna fall in love, and you're gonna pre-order it tonight. So
all right, sounds good.
Which you can do on Amazon too if you want.
Can you?
Which also helps us out, and that doesn't, I don't think they charge you till they ship too. So.
Nice. Can you buy all Super 7 stuff on Amazon?
We're starting to get into that a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. Every time I bought Super 7, I bought directly from Super 7.
Well, I appreciate that because that gives us more money and,
Oh, great.
In this climate, we need it. So pre-order Papa directly from us, just on principle. Yes. I'll bet you can use it for like a cool Hellfire Club custom if you really want.
There you go. In worst case scenario, right?
Exactly.
Right.
$55 fodder.
I mean, to be honest with you, I've spent more on fodder, so it's okay.
There you go. Yeah. Also, I also work on Conan the Barbarian, which I didn't even mention, and that wave is up for pre-order right now too. So I think
nice. So that's the one that has the cool Arnold head, right? Is that the one that has the cool,
the best Arnold head ever sculpted? Ever? Yes.
Fuck
it does.
Yeah, man.
The one head sculpt you can hear. That's going to be a new category for enablers roundup at the end of the year, I think.
I like it.
So all of that's available now. Go to super7.com. Check it out.
And if you guys are interested in following Kyle and all of his business, You can follow him over on IG. The account is up in the description. It's also on the screen here. So please go and show him some love. Give him a follow and see what he's up to. See what records he's listening to next week or this week.
That's right.
That's right. Kyle, thank you very much for taking the time out of your Wednesday nights.
Of course.
And yeah, if you ever want to come back on, I mean, my audience isn't like Kevin size, but you are 100% welcome anytime. Feel free to just reach out and let me know, and we'll make it happen, man, for sure.
Man. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun. I'd love to do it again.
Thanks, man. Okay, everybody, have a great week. Like I said, no show next week. We'll be back on the 28th with my buddy Sean, Enemy Zero, Figurama. And yeah, thank you guys all for the continued support. Appreciate it as always. We will see you guys real soon. Take it easy.
Bye, guys.